Hey everybody, it's Dalton. Just thought I'd take a few minutes here, do a video, talk about why I like ball head jigs so much. This is one of the videos that I wanted to do. It's a question I had. Why do I prefer a ball head jig, say, over a football jig? And I definitely have my reasons, but I like both jigs and I use both jigs. I was supposed to take my wife fishing. She wound up getting sick with some kind of a cold or a flu or something like that. I had it before her, so I guess I gave it to her. And so I haven't fished in a week. I plan on going out tomorrow. But once again, I just wanted to take the time to share this video with you. I've been making some baits. I made a whole bunch of worms over the weekend. These are the worms that I've been using at San Antonio, and I've been catching some good fish. This one's a green pumpkin. This one right here, of course, one of my favorite colors, black and blue. I ran a whole bunch of drop shots and Ned rigs in Morning Dawn. This is my little Ned rig here. It's my drop shot bait. And I've got a bunch of jigs coming in to tie. My next color is going to be black and blue. Now, just real quick, we do have a website now for our baits. However, I'm not going to share it yet because we're working out any glitches the website may have. I got a buddy or two of mine that are placing orders, so we make sure that it does the sales tax right, the shipping right. We want it 100% right. I think it's a beautiful website. My wife worked extremely hard on it, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. I'll be letting you know about that. So let's talk about jigs. First of all, have you a good jig box? A good jig box, in my opinion, is a box that's very deep, so that the compartments, each compartment can carry a lot of jigs. Now, one of the jigs that I'm going to be coming up with here before long, and I'm testing this one. This is a football jig that I'm testing right now. It's kind of my own prototype, I guess, for lack of another way to put it. I think it's going to be a really nice football jig. First size is going to be my favorite size. It's going to be 3/4 ounce, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And this is the new black and blue I'm coming out with on the ball head jigs, which should be coming in today. I'm going to start hand tying those, and I'll let you know about that. So let's talk about jigs. I'm not one to use many of the structure jigs, the flipping jigs. In fact, I have no reason to use them. I basically use 4 jigs. Sometimes I use a swim jig. I love a bladed jig or a chatterbait. But when it comes to just a regular style jig, I only use 2. I use a football jig or I use a ball head jig. Now, there was a time up to a few years ago that all I threw was a football jig. It was really all I knew about jig fishing was a football jig. And then Gerald Swindoll, some years ago, he's one of those Bassmaster guys, started talking about how he pretty much always throws a ball head jig now. So I ordered some of his jigs, his signature jigs, which are called Buckeye Ballin' Out jigs. Absolutely loved them. The only thing I didn't like about them is they have a very loose band around the skirt. So when dragging that jig around, I was losing skirting material. So what I decided to do was start looking for jig heads that could be made for me, that I could hand tie them and go ahead and put the weed guards in. And what I chose to do is go with Boss Jigs. Boss Jigs is a huge distributor of jigs. Giant. In fact, they have a big tackle warehouse contract. So I buy them in bulk. They make them the sizes that I want. They paint them the colors that I want. They send them directly to me. They also send me my skirts, and I can do everything through them. And this is also their football jig that I'm looking at. So let's talk about these 2 jigs and when I use them. First of all, I'll start with a football jig. I've kind of gone with a football jig on the heavier side now. I used to throw them all different weights. Now I rarely will throw a football jig under a 1/2 ounce. Basically, it's 2 sizes for me now. It's a 1/2 ounce and a 3/4 ounce. Now, if they made this particular football jig in a 5/8, I would definitely go with a 5/8. It's the best of both worlds. Right in the middle of that 1/2 ounce, that 3/4 ounce, absolutely perfect. But they haven't started making those yet. But when they do, I'm going to start doing these in 5/8. This one here is a 1/2 ounce. This is my prototype. I'm going to be messing around with this to see if I wind up liking this jig head. I got a feeling I'm really going to like it. I like the line tie. I like the head shape. I really like it. So, when do I use football jigs? Ledges, deep ledges. When I'm coming up a ledge or even down a deeper ledge, I love to throw a football jig. Gravel, any type of gravelly bottom, any type of loose rock, sometimes called chunk rock, is really good for a football jig because you're dragging this thing, so it can hit those little rocks just like a football, bounce around and make all kinds of little erratic movements. Clay, hard bottom. I always drag a football jig. Sometimes I've stroked it or hopped it off the bottom, but most all fish that I catch with a football jig is going to be dragging it. The key to a football jig, it's almost like they're just made to grab the bottom. It's like it has hands and it just grabs hold of the bottom. So when you're dragging a nice heavy football jig, you feel everything on the bottom, which really helps with fishing when it comes to finding those rock piles and things like that. That's when I throw a football jig. Typically, it's going to be heavy from here on out. Ball head jig. What are the differences to me? I'll give you two of them right off the bat for me. One is going to be versatility, and two is going to be more finesse. Let's start with versatility. I have thrown these ball head jigs and used them just like I would a swim jig. The only thing I don't have them in is white. I may change that someday. But when I'm trying to mimic, say, a bluegill or something, even though I got swim jigs, I'll just use this. I can get it through all kinds of cover, little stick-ups, even grass. Sometimes a swim jig is better, I get that, but I've done just fine with this, and I've caught a bunch of fish using this as a swim jig. It's very versatile. The other part of its versatility, anywhere that I throw a football jig, I can throw a ball head jig. The biggest difference is the weight. I don't want a ball head jig at 3/4 ounce because the head is going to be too big. That's not what I want. I'd rather go with a football jig. I only use with these basically 3/8 and 1/2 ounce. I used to use 1/4 ounce. I haven't been doing that in a long time. 3/8 and 1/2 ounce, extremely versatile. The way I use these, especially the reservoirs that I fish, on a 3/8 ounce, I throw it on 12-pound fluorocarbon, and on a 1/2 ounce, I throw it on 15-pound fluorocarbon. That's pretty much how I always do it. Another thing that's nice about this, since I fish so much rock, the primary cover, one of the primary cover at these reservoirs are rock. If you go out to San Antonio, there's no docks. The only docks are the ones that you launch. There's really no docks out there. So that eliminates that cover. When the lake gets lower, there's not a lot of stick-ups that I'm used to, but there's always plenty of rock. And I will take this ball head jig and I will throw it in rock. And I like to throw these up to, these 1/2 ounce up to about 20 to 25 feet. And the same with the football jig, but I like the football jig even deeper when I need to go there. I find myself with a ball head jig, because it doesn't have the wide head, I find that I get hung up on rock a lot less. Not near as much as when I was using a football jig off some of those bluff walls. These ball head jigs are great for docks. They're great for riprap. They're great for laydowns. If you've got wood in the water, these ball head jigs are ideal. And they're excellent for just open water. I've caught so many fish out at Nacimiento and San Antonio on these jigs, just plain open water. In fact, this jig right here, the last fish I caught this one on was a 7-pound catfish, and he tore up the trailer pretty good. But the color that's been working for me really good out at San Antonio has been that peanut butter jelly, because of that dark purple and that June bug trailer. And then the color that works really good for me out at Nacimiento has been the green pumpkins and the browns. Now the PBJ works too, but I prefer the green pumpkin and the brown when I'm out there. And then black and blue, on my black and blues, which is probably my favorite color jig, that's for deeper water. Or, you know, cloudy days, low sunlight. But I'm telling you right now, I've caught them in shallow water on high sun with a black and blue. I think they probably think it's a bluegill. I really don't know what they think it is. So my favorite jig is definitely a ball head jig. Hands down, I catch more fish on this, and I'm not talking about anybody else, I'm only talking about me. Hands down, I catch more fish on this than I do a football jig. And but there are places in my techniques that I have to have a football jig. So I hope this video helps. I got a lot of stuff going on around here. Sorry for the way my garage looks. I don't have a big garage. I got the boat sitting right here. I've always got tons of woodworking projects just to build a gate for the neighbor next door for their fence. And I keep myself busy making baits, fishing, even though I haven't fished in a week. I need to get back out there. I'm going out tomorrow, back out to San Antonio. I'll see how that works out. And of course, all my woodworking projects. I love to work. I love to stay busy. I always got something to do. So stay tuned on that website. I'll let you guys know hopefully within a week. You can go check out that website. Even if you don't order anything, that's fine. I just like for you to go check it out because my wife works so hard on it. Well, I appreciate you all. I thank you for tuning in. I'll talk to you next time.